He used the leftover fish bones to craft a barrel and a grip, then jammed the fish head onto the muzzle. Next he pulled out one of his own teeth to use as a bullet. A long fish spine served as the trigger, and finally he loaded the bullet. After finishing the weapon, he called the waiter over. The waiter collapsed onto the table, but no one else in the restaurant reacted. It was as if nothing had happened, because this wasn't reality. It was a fully immersive sensory game developed by a tech company. In the future, pollution had mutated most life forms. Two-headed lizards were everywhere. Farm-raised trout had tentacles. Even bullfrogs had grown human hands. These creatures weren't just food. Their nervous systems were used to power virtual sensory games. But to play, you had to have a port surgically installed in your back, with a biocable that connected to your spine. Alitra, the game's lead designer, received thunderous applause when she appeared at the launch event. After she finished explaining the rules, it was time for the demo. She entered the game with 12 lucky players. But then, a man in the audience suddenly pulled out a bone-made gun. He pointed it at Alitra and pulled the trigger. The host tried to intervene, but was shot as well. Chaos erupted. Security finally responded and shot the attacker. Before he died, the host told Ted to protect Alitra and warned him not to trust anyone. Without hesitation, Ted took Alitra and fled the scene. Once they were safe, Ted used a knife to dig the bullet out of Alitra's wound. To his shock, the bullet was a human tooth, and the gun was made entirely of organic bone. They checked into a nearby motel. Alitra was surprised to discover that Ted didn't have a game port. He explained he was too scared to let anyone cut into his body. But now the game's original core drive was damaged. To confirm whether it was infected, Alitra had to enter the game with other players. Ted was still terrified, but he agreed to help. They went to a nearby gas station, where the clerk turned out to be a huge fan of Alitra. After hearing their situation, he immediately offered to install a port for Ted for free. But as soon as the tool fired, Ted lost all feeling in his lower body. The clerk reassured him that it was normal, and the feeling would return soon. But Alitra couldn't wait. She connected the cable and got ready to enter the game. Right as she hit the start button, the core drive short-circuited. If they didn't fix it in time, the entire game would collapse. That's when a man walked in with a shotgun. Turns out there was a bounty on Alitra's head. Whoever killed her would destroy the game with her. That's why he gave Ted a faulty port. He stepped closer and raised his gun at Alitra. But just before he could pull the trigger, a shot rang out first.